It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the last episode that aired for Season 10 of The Walking Dead, Season 10 Episode 3, which was called Ghosts. And we're going to take a look at that ending scene, and I'm going to try to explain what I think happened and is the Whisperer dead or is it alive? So of course in this episode, Carol actually goes inside this gymnasium and she steps on a rope and she's basically trapped. So then a Whisperer shows up, lures the walkers in and leaves. Carol kills all of those walkers. Now at this point, there's still a chance that Carol is hallucinating. Yes, there was a rope there and she was trapped for sure. But at the same time, was there really a Whisperer there? So at this point, they're not really revealing to the audience whether what Carol saw was real or not. Now at the end of the episode, what do we see? We see them showing all of the walkers that Carol killed in that gymnasium. And it shows all of them and it follows this kind of trail which leads to outside. Then we see this Whisperer right here open her eyes. Now, this tells us two big things. One, that the Whisperer that Carol saw in the gymnasium was not in her head and it was real. And possibly the three Whisperers that she saw outside may have actually been there as well. So she wasn't hallucinating that either. This Whisperer was injured. We do see that as they're panning his face. And at this point, I think we're safe to assume that Carol was the one that shot this Whisperer. Now, in some way, shape, or form, this Whisperer escaped, ran outside the building, but collapsed, maybe from blood loss. The Whisperer has opened their eyes. So is the Whisperer dead or is it alive? To be honest with you, it's extremely difficult to tell. It could go either way. I don't think anyone can confidently say one over the other. There is a chance that the Whisperer is alive and it's going to get up and walk away and go to Alpha and tell her everything. There is also a chance that the Whisperer is dead and it's just gonna walk around as a walker. And some people even mentioned that the eyes look clouded over like a walker. Honestly, I didn't see that. I think walker eyes are a little bit more glass-like, and in this one, the Whisperer's eyes were more black to brownish, as if it's the eyes of someone who is alive. So, like I said, it's extremely close. It could go both ways. But I think, at the end of the day, the end results of both are going to be the same. Whether the Whisperer is dead or alive, at the end of the day, this is the start of the war. This triggers the war. And why do I say that? So, obviously, after Alpha and Carol's encounter, Carol shot towards Alpha. Obviously, Michonne pushed the gun away so she couldn't shoot Alpha. And of course, Alpha forgave Carol for that action. But at the end of the day, I think Alpha wasn't over that. Not because she tried to kill her necessarily, but because she knew that this would be someone who she can't control down the line if she doesn't shut her down immediately. So I think, even though on the surface or face to face, she acted like she forgave Carol and let them go, later on, what she probably did is send a Whisperer after them. And this Whisperer set up this trap to get Carol, to kill her. Obviously, she was unsuccessful in that attempt and ended up getting shot. And like I said, regardless of whether the Whisperer is alive or not, Alpha's gonna know that this Whisperer was killed. And this sends a message to her that the only way to control these people is to attack them, which is most likely what the next episode is gonna focus on. And to kind of jump back on that a little bit, let's assume that the Whisperer is dead. So if the Whisperer doesn't come back to Alpha within a reasonable amount of time, Alpha is gonna know that the Whisperer most likely died. And that sends the message to Alpha that this is it, this is war. Now, assuming that the Whisperer survives, it's still going to lead to the same thing. The Whisperer is going to go back to the Whisperer's camp and tell Alpha that Carol shot at her. And this is actually going to be even more motivation for Alpha to want to punish the group. Now, the last thing I want to mention before ending this video is if this Whisperer is in fact dead, then this is an extremely epic visual. Think about it. It's a Whisperer wearing a walker's skin, but now it's turned into a walker. So that's very interesting. And I think if they do it right, they could actually revisit this later on. Like if they want to reveal that this Whisperer actually died, they could have this Whisperer show up, but then maybe Daryl or Carol or someone notices that this is skin on their face. That's a Whisperer, but they're walking around as a walker. So it creates this sort of confusion, which I think is going to be very interesting. And it adds a little bit more to the war and to this storyline and to the Whisperers in general. And I think it would be very, very interesting. But I want to know everyone's opinions about this. Do you think that the Whisperer is dead, or do you think the Whisperer is alive? And what do you think this leads to? Do you think in both cases it's going to lead to Alpha sending her towards a community, most likely Hilltop, to punish the group? Or do you think the outcome of the Whisperer being dead or alive is going to be different? Let me know in the comment section below. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.